Okay, guys, how are you? I hope everyone's safe and healthy out there. We are going to be looking at lesson 10.4 today. It is on page 401 in your textbook. And our learning target for today is I can find a starting time or an ending time when I know the elapsed time. So here's what we need to do. We need to really focus in. You know how Mr. White loves his math vocabulary. What does elapsed time mean? We talked about this in 10.3. It is the time in between when something starts and when something ends. So to review what we did in that last one, we knew what the start time was and the end time was, and we had to figure out what the elapsed time was. But in this video, we are going to be given the start time, and we are going to be given the elapsed time, and we're going to need to figure out what the end time is. And because we're given those two things, the start time and the elapsed time, we will be able to figure out the end time, and that's what I'm going to try and teach you guys today. So if you look at the board, it's very similar to the way that 10.3 was set up. We have our number line here, and then we have our analog clock down here. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look up here at the number line first. So I'm going to read the unlock your problem. And again, we are on page 401. I'm going to read the unlock your problem, and then we'll get into the different strategies that we can use to solve it. Al begins working on his oceans project at 1:30 p.m. He spends 42 minutes painting a model of Earth and labeling the oceans. At what time does Al finish working on his project? So if we were in class, you know what I'd be saying right now. What is the first thing that you do after you read a math word problem? And I hope you're saying it either out loud or in your head right now. You underline the important parts. If you notice up here, Mr. White already did that. I labeled our start time, which is 1:30 p.m. And I also labeled our elapsed time, which is Al took 42 minutes to paint his oceans. For my social studies guys out there, remember, what are the oceans? There's not 4, there's 5. Everyone always says there's 4. There's 5 oceans on planet Earth. What are they? That's your bonus point. Put that in the discussion, and you'll get a couple of Class Dojo points. But let's get right into it. So Al starts at 1:30. Now, if you notice, same thing as I did last time. We did the tally marks. Now, what we're going to do is each tally mark, we're going to jump 10 minutes until we get over here to the green. So if it's at 1:30 and we jump 10 minutes, what is this time going to be? 1:30 plus 10, 1:40. How about if we jump another 10 minutes? $150. Another 10. Wait a second. How many minutes are in an hour? Is it 160? No, that's not it. So what do I need to do? I hope you guys are thinking out there. If I have to go from 150, it's not 160 because there's 60 minutes in an hour. What do you have to do? You have to jump up to the next hour. So from 150, if you jump 10 minutes, it is officially 2 o'clock. All right. We're feeling it. Going with the flow here. Let me write in my 10 minutes up top. You know I'm weird about this weird stuff. All right, so jump another 10 minutes. So if we're at 2 o'clock and we jump 10 minutes, guys, what is it going to be? 2, 10. All right, now, the green marks, and I'm going to get my green marker here. We were jumping 10 minutes. These are just going to be representative of jumping 2 minutes. So 1 minute here and then 1 minute here. So if we're at 2:10 and we jump 1 minute, jumps up to 2:11. And then if we're at 2:11 and we jump 1 minute, we are officially up to 2:12. Now let's go back. What was the question asking us? Remember, you should have done that first. Underline the important parts. We know how to do this. We identified our start time. We identified how much time was lapsed. So if Al was painting for 42 minutes and he started at 1:30, the question is asking, at what time did Al finish working on his project? And the answer is, just drop my marker. I know you can't see because it's not on screen. 2:12 p.m. All right. Let's go down here to the analog clock now. So that's one strategy. Let's go down here to this one. Now, I want you guys to take notice. We have to identify a few important things on an analog clock. So we have our small hand. What does the small hand represent? And we have our long hand, or long arm, whatever you like to call them. Small and long. What does the small represent? That represents the hour. And then the long one represents the minutes. Now, if you notice, it's directly in the middle of the 1 and the 2. Do not get confused here. So many third graders will say, oh, it's closer to 2. So if it's in between them, it has to go to The hour, you always refer to the number that is behind the hand. So you start off, it is 1, and then whoop, the long hand goes right to the 6, halfway down. There is 60 minutes in an hour. So half of 60 is 30. So this is representative of 1:30. Now, if we know that this clock, the start time is 1:30, well, we need to jump. What's our elapsed time? 42 minutes. So let's do this together. Just like in the last lesson, I told you when we are jumping on an analog clock, when you go from the 6 to the 7, how many minutes is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it. 5 minutes. Let's jump from the 7 to the 8. 10 minutes. From the 8 to the 9. 15 minutes. From the 9 to the 10. 20 minutes. From the 10 to the 11. 25 minutes. From the 11 to the, wait a second, when you get to the 12, it's 30 minutes. What is this representative of now? We officially have gotten to the next hour. So this is 2 o'clock. All right? But remember, did we get up to 42 minutes yet? No, we did not. So let's keep jumping. If we jump from the 12 to the 1, that is 35 minutes. If we jump from the 1 to the 2, that is 40 minutes. Let's hold up right there. The elapsed time is 42 minutes. So we have to ask ourselves, do we jump up to the 3? No, sir. We have to just jump 2 small green tally marks. 41 and 42. So now you have to think to yourself, all right, we've traveled all the way around and we've landed right here. So I'm going to draw these hands for you. I think this is the harder way to do it. But again, is there only one way to solve a math problem? No. So now the hour hand has officially moved here. Here's the weird part about this one. And the minute hand is going to land right here. So if the hour hand is in between the 2 and the 3, that means the hour is 2. And the minute hand is right here. So let's go from the top. That's 5, 10, 11, 12. 2, 12 p.m. This is a tricky lesson, guys. Very tricky. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, Mr. White, I love this way, or Mr. White, I love this way. Remember, there's not one way to solve a math problem. And also, think about this. They gave us the start time in this particular problem. They didn't give us the end time. So when they gave us the start time, we had to add 42 minutes. The question is, well, what if they didn't give us the start time, and what if they gave us the end time? If we had to add 42 minutes in this problem, what do you think we would have to do if they did it the opposite way? If they gave us the end time and we needed to figure out the start time? If you're saying to yourself, Mr. White, the opposite of addition is subtraction, we'd probably have to subtract. You are absolutely correct. I'm sure you guys are going to have questions on this particular lesson. That is completely fine. Post them in the discussion, and we will talk about it, and we will figure it out. Teamwork makes the dream work, all right? Miss you guys. Peace out.